So this is Matthew Stafford's wife. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Matthew Stafford, but he's played in the NFL for a long time. He was the Detroit Lions quarterback the year before they went 0-16. So then they had the number 1 draft pick, and then they got him, and he was pretty good for the Lions. I think he made him make the playoffs once in his time there, which is a feat because the Lions have not been very good. Granted, they're good now, but they weren't good for the longest time. That's a little irrelevant. But either way, this is just his wife, and she went on this podcast and just completely exposed him for absolutely no reason. And I just don't understand the point to why she did this. So I just thought this was an interesting thing to play, and I just want to see what you think about it afterwards.
Oh, so they haven't had any sort of public beef or falling out before this?
No, they're still married. Like, it's not like they're not married, but it's just she just humiliated him for no reason.
Okay, hell yeah, let's hear it.
Was, the typical college, I would say, relationship where there wasn't really one.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want one. That asshole. So
Could you blame him?
We went back and forth there for a little bit with the love-hate. Some of my podcast is our story, because it's a really funny fucking story because we were all over the place. I dated the backup to piss.
Yeah, usually when you have a funny story about your partner, you tell it to like your close circle of friends. You don't shit on them publicly. You don't go on a podcast to shit on your spouse.
No, you don't. And that's what pissed me off about this so much.
Nice.
Piss him off. Like, that was the type of situation we were in.
You dirty!
Backup quarterback in college to piss him off. And she just had to make that public for everyone to know. Like, she's just like, why? Like, why would you go public and just say that out loud for the whole world to know about that? Like, I'm sure did not want that to be a public thing. Like, there's just no way. No guy would ever want that to be public.
Oh, but yeah, no, that's gonna hurt your ego for sure.
Listen, he deserved it, okay? He deserved it.
That backup is crazy. What is he doing?
You know what? He was like the bad boy. He Matthew's like this genuine soul, and then it was the bad boy. So
but he's the backup. Like, if I'm Matthew, I'm sending the offensive line after him. Like, get this guy off the team. Get him out of here.
I don't think he saw the field after that.
Yeah.
But in the end, I always tell him we ended up together and we had to go through all of it. So the backup had to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, our college relationship was,
so the backup had to happen, right? Like, I'm sure he wouldn't have eventually maybe like wanted to settle down. Maybe he just wasn't ready for a relationship. Like, that just drives me nuts. And like, in what world do you think that's like an appropriate thing to talk about? Granted, in Stephen A's clip, she goes into a little more detail. It's not really relevant to watch, but they have 4 kids together. And like, imagine like these kids seeing this clip of this podcast when they're older, years later, like, oh, I'm so glad my mom just exposed my dad like that in front of the whole sports world. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's like rule number 1 of parenting. You got to be a united front, and then, or alternatively, you can publicly humiliate them too. Either way, it works just as well.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, why would she feel the need to say that? Like, it actually generally made me mad. I'm just like, this is the reason why guys get pissed off. Like, this is the exact reason why guys get pissed off, is because women feel the need. I'm not saying all women, but for some reason, it's a popular thing for women to just humiliate their significant others for absolutely no reason.
It's not even like a woman thing. Maybe they're a little bit worse about it. I don't know. I don't have a way to gauge that, but it's just social media people in general, where you just air out your dirty laundry. Like this, the Am I the Asshole Reddit, where people just, a lot, like, sometimes it makes sense. People are genuinely going there to get advice on a life situation or whatever. But a lot of times people are just going there to throw shade at their partner. And it's like, you are choosing to stay with this person. Every shitty thing that you say about them reflects on you just as much because you tolerate it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So like, I just like, again, like it doesn't make her look good. It doesn't make him necessarily look that good either. It just makes them both look like idiots. Like I'm glad it worked out for them and like whatever. But like, I mean, if I were Matthew Stafford, I wouldn't be very happy with her right now. That's just my opinion. Like, there's just absolutely no reason to do that. Like, even if you still have a little bit of anger about it, like, talk about it privately. Don't go on a podcast and just expose your husband, who's made you hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career, may I add. Not that money's everything, but I mean, as far as I know, he's a really good dad and a really good person. So why would you ever do that? And especially because this was when they were in college. Like, it's kind of normal to have casual relationships in college. Like, it's not unheard of. So the fact that like you felt the need to make him jealous instead of just trying to talk, or like maybe like wait it out, maybe eventually he would catch feelings. Like, you don't have to take it to that extreme. And even if you did do that, whatever, sure, but you don't have to make it public. You don't have to just expose him 20 years later. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's a really embarrassing trend that rather than communicating and resolving things internally, we would rather publicly shame people and embarrass them. And yeah, it's another one of those things that's very disheartening for the future of relationships and stuff. And I worry about people being lonely in the future because we do this sort of thing, you know?
Like, I mean, in my opinion, like, yeah, like, I've had in my relationships, I haven't had the best stuff happen at some points in time, but I never would ever go on social media and then just talk about it. Like, I never once did that. Like, I would talk about it with close friends, yeah, with family, yeah, but you're supposed to have those conversations between those people, not for the whole world to just anyone who wants to find the video to go watch the video on it. Like, it just doesn't really make much sense. And you wonder why Gen Z struggles with dating so much, because like this shit just keeps happening. And then obviously they're not Gen Z, but like this is just icing on the cake for even older generations. Now it's even becoming a problem.
Yeah, well, shitting on your ex is one thing, but to shit on your current partner, I think, is significantly worse.
Husband, may I add, not just partner, husband, they're married. Partner, I feel like that, I mean, that can mean multiple things, but when I think of partner, I think they're not married.
Well, sure, but I would just mean that you're in a committed relationship together.
Yeah, no, 100%. It doesn't make it any better or worse, but the fact they've been married and have 4 kids, and then she just feels the need to go on a random Barstool podcast and make those comments is pretty wild to me.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I would be perfectly happy to do the whole stay-at-home fucking thing if somebody is making that type of money. I don't know. To me, I would just be, like have the attitude of the fat cat that just gets spoiled. Just enjoy what you have. Obviously you got kids. Kill that, but otherwise take it easy.
Yeah, and the thing is too, Stephen A. even mentions that in his video. He goes, yeah, like, I mean, Matthew Stafford's going to make over $360 million when it's all said and done with this next contract. So she's not doing this for the money. She's doing this for some sort of other validation of some sort. So it just doesn't really make much. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, just for attention. That's crazy that you would do that to the father of your children and your current husband.
Yep. And I mean, like I said, obviously I don't know the guy that well, but everything I've heard about the guy makes him seem like a pretty stand-up dude. So maybe he was more of a player in college, but people change. And just because he was doesn't mean you have to expose him 20 years later.
Yeah. No, it's just lame. It's just lame. Either be happy in your relationship or leave it. And then if you want to talk shit, I get it a little bit more. But if you're going to stay with this person, what the fuck are you doing?
And the thing is, too, is like, let's be real. Even if you're having a casual relationship with the starting quarterback at Georgia, I think you should be pretty happy with yourself there. Like, that guy's the king of campus. Like, just be happy that you even have the chance to maybe date him one day instead of just being butthurt that he doesn't want to commit.
I don't know about all that. That's a bit much. So to me, that it's all about the fact that they're supposed to be a family unit right now, and that is absolutely not in the spirit of a family unit. No,
I'm talking like back in the day. Like, I'm saying, I just don't know why. I don't know. Whatever. It's just it's a little frustrating to me. But I know men sometimes do stuff like that too. But it just seems to be a common theme.
No, only women. Only women do that. Don't give them an inch.